Do you want to make your house feel like a home? Do you love home design and decor but don't know where to start? I'm Kasie Savage and this is The Nest, your destination for all things home, decor, and lifestyle with a local twist. We've got your neighborhood experts that know how to keep it real, easy, affordable, current, and creative. So cozy up, grab a drink and get comfy because today we've got the experts, pros, and all the tips, tricks, and shopping picks, advice, and more that you need to create your best nest. How do you spruce your house up for every season and make it look great without breaking the bank? Well, there are some tricks and there are some tips, and it's easy do-it-yourself kind of stuff. With our expert in this segment, our designer, Karrie McFee, is here to give us some inside scoop on things you can do at home using little accents that have big impact. So good to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
Your house, I always imagined to be just magazine ready.
I usually try to make it magazine ready.
Yeah.
I don't know if my husband would agree with you.
Karrie and I were just talking, trying to make each other feel better, like it's some sort of group therapy. I'm like, Karrie, do you also kind of shop your own house and have a whole storage room of items that you just swap in and out for the season? She's like, yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, well, even if you're not like that, here are some fun and easy ideas. Let's talk, first of all, before we get into florals, let's talk pillows. How big is your personal pillow collection?
My pillow collection is probably approaching 30 pillows now.
30 pillows. Say. Okay, and how easy is it to decorate with pillows?
It is so easy. You know, my rule of thumb is to pick one main color, one main accent color. So if you're, you know, wanting to go more neutral, let's say, and or go with the grays. Grays are so popular now, yet your furniture isn't necessarily conducive to that. Great area rug that pulls in those colors, you know. So in my own house even, I have a beige love seat and a black leather couch.
Yeah.
Loving the grays, but didn't have gray in my house at all. So yeah. I swapped out my rug and pulled in all the grays and beiges and a little bit of black and all the hints of color in my other furniture. But then pillows are the best way, I think, personally, to accessorize and pull more of those colors into your space.
And much more affordable than buying a whole new sofa.
Absolutely, or recovering a whole sofa. You know, I mean, you could do drapes and whatnot to, you know, and paint, of course, too, to change your wall colors, but pillows are just fabulous, inexpensive, and you can pick that one main color, like that lovely gray over there, and just play off of that, and it's such an easy thing to do. I
mean, even we have this great set that's provided to us by Saturday Afternoons, and we've just loaded it up with pillows. Karrie brought in a whole ton of pillows, and it's so pretty. And you're right, when you stick with the neutrals, you really can't go wrong. And I guess your tip and trick is, even if your furniture isn't in the color tone or family that you're looking for, find a big area rug that is and tie it all together.
Absolutely.
Gorgeous. And even though your daughter doesn't love this pillow right here, throwing her under the bus, we think it looks fantastic and it's so pretty. And texture is big.
Texture is amazing, and there's so many different textures that you can combine, and just it just gives a rich and inviting look to any piece of furniture, any space, any bench. And
your big passion in life, besides your family, is florals, greenery.
Florals.
So what can we do with florals and greenery?
Florals are so easy. A lot of people shy away from maybe doing their own arrangements because they think, A, it's too much of a cost, or B, I don't know how to combine colors. I don't know how to change things for a season. So I like to tell people, my little trick is to start with one main flower.
Okay.
So I've started with hydrangea, and this is actually green hydrangea, it's called. So it's a lovely creamy white and sort of hints of lime green.
So pretty.
And you take, you know, I just take one flower and I add to it. So say we're gonna do a spring arrangement.
Okay.
I would take my hydrangea.
And love that you're using mason jars, by the way.
Love
because,
mason jars.
I mean, who doesn't have an empty pickle jar lying around.
Everybody's
or
got at
your
least
aunt's
one jar.
red pepper jelly that you've just run out of.
Exactly. And I mean, even if you don't, it's such an easy and inexpensive piece to buy. You can get them at the grocery store, you can get them in the hardware store.
Yeah.
You know, if you can buy them individually, great. But even if you buy a case of them, you know, give them out as gifts.
Yeah.
I love to do that. It's my favorite thing to do, is to do a small little flower arrangement,
Yeah.
put it in a mason jar, voila.
So
Hostess
pretty.
gift.
Okay, so let's see how you can put together an arrangement.
Okay, so
A quickie arrangement, since
quickie.
we never have enough time, ever, to get too deep.
quickie arrangement.
Okay,
I would,
so
so here's my
tulips.
hydrangeas. I would then accent with some tulips.
So
whatever
that's
color.
for spring, right?
For spring, absolutely. I mean, now tulips are in season pretty much all time of the year.
It's true.
But it's
thank goodness for South America. We can have
absolutely,
lots of beautiful flowers any time of the year.
absolutely.
Aw,
Just adding just
freesia.
little touches. Beautiful, freesia. Love
And I'm
freesia.
guessing if you were swapping this up into a winter arrangement, you would take, or would you even leave the tulips in there and then add some of the greenery?
You could leave the tulips in there if you want something maybe with a little bit less color. Say you don't want the little hints of color.
Yeah, you can
don't
keep it very monochromatic.
exactly. You know, you can just leave the simple hydrangea.
It's so pretty. And then add your little sprigs of
Add your,
greenery.
the perfect for Christmas. You've got cedar, you've got
Oh
pine.
my gosh,
Just
it's so pretty.
layer, and of course the smell is
Love it. Okay, you keep
fantastic.
working on that because I want this set to be gorgeous for our next segment. Okay, thank you so much, Karrie. Coming
you.
right up after the break, it's What's New in Homes. We have Dave Clayton here, and we're talking budgets. Yeah, I said it, budgets. We'll be back after this. Okay, here's a bad word for you. Budgets. Budgets. Whether you're renovating or building a house from the ground up, why are there so many variables? Why do you think it's going to cost $100 and then it costs $1,000? There is so much frustration, I think, for so many homeowners when it comes to the B word, budgets. But here to give us tips, tricks, and dispel all of those budgetary myths that so many of us get bogged down in, we have Dave Clayton of Alair Homes, Aurora Newmarket here, the pro in the black shirt that we can trust and count on. So first of all, what about the oral quote, the verbal quote? How do you feel about that?
We don't like it. The verbal quote is worth about as much as the imaginary paper it's written on.
Yeah.
So
you guys are big on client communication, but certainly whether it's a small renovation or a big job, as I was saying, there's a process that needs to be in place for establishing the proper budget, setting the budget so everyone's on the same page, so to speak, right?
Right, absolutely. And in the typical process that I think most people are familiar with, your contractor, your builder, takes your architectural plans, they make some assumptions, they make some allowances for some of these line items, then they give you a per square foot cost. Now the problem with that is that there are hundreds of line items and decisions to be made, and they're making assumptions about each and every one of those. So the builder may have thought that they're going to allow $5 a square foot for the flooring, but the flooring you want costs $10 a square foot.
Or it needs a new subfloor, or there's rot under the current floor, or like who knows, right?
Absolutely. So you multiply that across hundreds of line items,
Oh,
you
yeah.
can see where budgets get out of control. So soon we thought that our $50,000 renovation is now a $75,000 renovation.
Yeah, and
right?
nobody wants that. So what's the proper process?
So at Alair, we implement a crucial first step in the process called our design and estimation phase. So instead of going from plans and guesstimates, we actually dig right in. Before the shovel hits the ground, we figure out what every cost is going to be. We'll work with our client for as long as it takes to figure out what each of these line items costs. And then instead of us giving the client the budget, the client's now working with us, and they're building their own budget.
So I'm guessing you have more than, say, 3 or 4 line items. What would a typical budget have with you guys?
So for a new custom home, there's literally hundreds of line items, and everything from the shingles that are on the roof, the flooring that's on the ground, to the actual paint that's on the wall. We want to figure out the exact cost of each one of these things. We give that control right back to the client. They build that budget, and then we enter that project with cost certainty. So we don't have fleeting costs that are running away on us as we go. Makes the whole process much more relaxed, and we're not worried about this budget the whole time.
How often should a contractor be communicating with the client, the homeowner, as they move through a project in terms of budget?
Realistically, it should be a formal budget meeting every week. You should understand, because things change so quickly. So we always want to understand where things are, how they've got to where they are, and what's the next step going down the road.
So that's the best process if you're doing, say, a custom home, but let's say it's a basement renovation. Are we talking about the same sort of process, reviewing weekly?
Absolutely, and our process actually needs to be a little bit tighter for renovations, because there are so many things that can go wrong. We've all watched those shows on TV where we open up the wall and now it's an extra $10,000.
Yeah, or some of us have actually lived that in our real lives, where you think, like, why is this so much more expensive than I had budgeted for? But seriously, why does it always go over? Because I would like to know how many times you guys have come in under budget. Has that ever happened?
Well, it's different at Alair because we go through this exercise. The planning process takes a lot longer, but we do that before we begin any work. For that reason, going into the project, we've made necessary allowances where we think we're going to have overages. We know which areas that we might have those overages, and we account for it accordingly. Every other phase of that project, we figure out what the hard cost is before going in.
What are some of the big items or big issues that you find that always will inflate a budget by just a ton?
It's always your interior and exterior finishes, right? So it's things like your flooring. You know, if we're looking at a $5 flooring compared to a 10, depending on the size of your home, that can be tens of thousands of dollars in a budget difference there. You know, the siding on your home, what windows you're using.
Size of the windows.
Absolutely. So we want to talk through all of these things. We want to spend the appropriate time planning so that we know what these costs are going into it.
Now, what would you say to homeowners who maybe haven't had the luxury of dealing with Alair Homes, who are about to embark upon a renovation? What are some tips you would suggest to them, to us, when it comes to finding, you know, a contractor and establishing that budget right out of the gates?
Right. So it's all about asking the right questions.
Yeah.
You want to know what allowances were made for certain items and how they got to those numbers. So, you know, for example, the builder may give you an estimate based on a trade that he's worked with in the past that gave him a price last year. Well, is that trade now available? Can they honor that price? You want to know exactly what windows you're looking at, right? If the builder is quoting a builder grade vinyl window and you want fiberglass windows with high-end mechanisms, that's going to triple your budget.
Okay, so in other words, questions, questions, questions. Here with some line items coming up after the break that would perhaps influence your budget, we have our Love It list with Jackie Kovacs right after this. Okay, nature really is the best inspiration. Do you ever just look outside and inhale and you're like, you know what? I wish I could bring the outdoors in, but in a way that will suit my decor, you know? Because sometimes you just don't want to bring in a hunk of wood and stick it on your coffee table and expect it to look great, although I do think that's a great idea. So now we have our segment called the Love It List, where editor of York Life magazine, Jackie Kovacs, scours our community in search of the latest and greatest. And this time, Jackie, it's all about organics. Organics.
That organic touch, that living touch inspired by nature. And I've found some fabulous things at Designland Studios in Aurora.
Yeah, Designland Studios has some really kind of high-end, great decor items. So let's start over with this biggie over here.
Oh,
We
yeah.
had to find a second table to prop it up.
Sorry about that.
This is a statement lamp.
Oh yeah, this lamp is functional and it's fabulous. I
Yeah.
mean, you've got this mottled mercury glass, you've got this beautiful, elegant crystal base,
Gosh.
a little touch up here of the crystal as well, and then this pale gray linen shade.
So this counts as organic because we're combining a variety. I mean, that does look like a rock. And you've got the crystal, so it's almost like the minerals, the gems, and then the fabric, the soft linen as
right.
well. So super pretty. What are we talking about price point wise?
Well, it's an investment piece. It's $4.99, but this is something that you will no doubt enjoy forever. It's not going to date. It's a piece of art, really.
Also, oh my gosh, look at it. It almost looks extraterrestrial. When you look at, I'm just looking on the screen right now at what we can see with the base. So pretty. It actually looks like a true museum piece. It's
does.
Gorgeous.
It does. And you know, something that will be a conversation piece and a highlight for any room.
Oh my gosh, it's like, what room do you put it in? Because it's so pretty. Almost take it from room to room so
As
you can admire it.
With this, you could take this from room to
Yeah,
room
this
too.
is so pretty too. So tell me about this bowl. This isn't just a bowl. I don't even want to call it a bowl.
No, this is a hammered metal bowl that again has this beautiful combination of function. You could, you know, fill it up with beautiful green apples. You could make it into more of a decor piece with some greenery or flowers or floating candles. And it's timeless, it's classic, and it has that metal. It's an element. So again, you're looking at that organic touch.
And I cannot believe how often I'm seeing hammered finishes. And I guess because that plays into, we talk so much here, I feel week to week on the Nest about texture.
Yes.
And so instead of just having that plain old metal bowl here that looks like it could double for, you know, the dog's water dish, this has that classy design element to it. Love the hammered texture as well, but also it catches the light in so many different ways as well. And that alone makes it a great piece in a room where you have lots of interesting light sources that would bounce off of this. It would look great even, you know, with candlelight as a centerpiece on a dining room table.
Yeah.
So nice. Okay, and then what do we have over here with our, speaking of bringing the wood in, this is a much more sophisticated approach to chopping off a piece of a log and bringing it in the house.
I'd say so. This is one of two bookends. We just put the one here for now, but yeah, again, it's you can see all the grain of the wood and the rings, and it's set within, you know, more wood and a little touch of metal, and it's elegant, it's clean, it's understated. You know, it looks beautiful on its own, but it is in fact functional as a bookend.
And the angles as well. I mean, just it actually has kind of this really modern feel to it with the way that it's you know, suspended almost. It's raised up, but it almost looks like it's floating in this black frame, which is so pretty. So what is the price point on this?
Oh, for a pair is $105.
$105. Okay, we love the Love It list, Jackie Kovacs. Thank you so much for bringing these great items from Design Line Studios. Okay, don't go anywhere because after the break, what we have for you is Ask the Pros, and we've assembled our pros to answer your viewer questions. Back right after this. Welcome back. Hey, have you checked out our Facebook page? That's where so many of the viewers share their picks and their dilemmas and say, you know, can you help me out with the layout of this room? And our pros often check in to that Facebook page and offer their insights for free, which is, I think, one of the advantages of following The Nest with Kasie Savage on Facebook. So this segment is all about answering your viewer questions. And this question comes from Susan in Georgina, who has a family room with a traditional wood-burning fireplace, but she doesn't have a TV above it. And she's saying the layout of the furniture is a bit compromised. Here's the look at the room, because really the couch faces the TV up on that opposite wall. And the couch really can't go anywhere else. Those are swivel chairs, she says, that can swivel around and reposition, but she's thinking about converting to a gas fireplace only because the wood burning seems to be a lot of maintenance. I mean, you have to buy wood, number one. There's the scooping out of, you know, the ashes. Nobody likes that job. So we're going to turn to our panel of pros. We have designer Karrie McFee with us, Dave Clayton from Alair Homes, Aurora, Newmarket, and Jackie Kovacs, editor of York Life magazine. So first of all, I want to hear, before I even get into Susan's question, what kind of fireplace person are you? Gas, electric, wood burning?
I like the convenience of gas.
Convenience
because I
of
don't
gas.
have it.
So you have wood burning?
I do have wood burning, but I have to say, if you don't want the mess of wood, you can use the 4-hour logs, which we use
Oh,
very
we call those
frequently.
the cheater logs.
It's a super cheater log, but it's great.
Yeah, no more kindling.
Yeah.
And Dave,
fire.
what about you?
I love a wood burning fireplace. Love the smell, the crackle. You just can't replicate that.
I see you being one of those guys that just tends endlessly to the fire, poking away the sparks.
Always keeping busy, just poking at it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Jackie, what about you? What kind of fireplace do you love?
I would if I could, but I can't. I'm in the kind of house that you can't, because of laws and safety,
yeah.
you can't have a wood-burning fireplace. I don't have any fireplace at all.
Could you have gas?
We could have had gas when we bought the place, but we opted out because we had young children and we thought that they get really, really hot and we were worried about safety. But now that they're older, I would love to get one of those electric fireplaces that you can just hang on any wall, and they look very sleek and they give you that element of fire that makes everything so cozy.
That's just a bit better than the fireplace channel, which is the last option that we're not going to discuss here. Okay, so I think I know what your ideas will be for Susan, but Karrie, what do you think about that family room in terms of fireplace? Should she convert? Should she put the TV up above? What do you think?
I don't love the idea of having a TV above the fireplace. It is a focal point, having a fireplace in your family room or in your living room, and you want to enjoy that. However, that being said, we were discussing about having a hidden television. So you could put cabinetry across the front and hide the TV, but I think, in that instance, I would put maybe a larger mirror, maybe a larger piece of artwork, something else you can enjoy besides the fireplace.
Yeah.
And just dress it up a little bit.
But keep it
more
wood
that way.
burning.
If you have wood burning already and it's convenient enough for you, if you don't mind cleaning it out, then go ahead. But gas, I think, is the way to go, unfortunately.
Okay, Dave, I keep hearing this rumor, you're in the custom home building business, that people are going crazy for wood burning again. Is this true? Are you putting wood burning fireplaces into people's homes, or is that just a false rumor?
We're not doing a lot of it. Mostly in some transitional spaces where you're kind of on a covered patio, Muskoka style room. The vast majority that we're seeing are gas fireplaces, simply for convenience and cost.
Convenience and cost, yeah, and low maintenance. Do you have to even maintain a gas fireplace?
Not that I'm aware of, not much. It's kind of plug and play.
Besides occasionally, putting some glass cleaner on the front, and that's about it. And then Jackie, what about you? What would your suggestions be for this room?
Well, I would say if she's struggling with the TV thing, I think we were discussing that there are those TVs that look like art when you're not using them. So that'd be one way to go. I can see why you would want it there, and I can see why you wouldn't. I mean, is there another place the TV could go, a den or something, so that this other room becomes dedicated to reading and conversation?
I'm like, you strike me as the type of person that's like, TV. Like, let this room be perfect for reading.
Well, yes.
Editor of York Life magazine, I guess we should focus on reading some more. Okay, let's take a look at some pics that we found off of House, maybe some suggestions of different types of fireplaces in rooms, and they definitely create totally different looks. So here, Jackie, pay attention, here's an electric fireplace, and I think, my opinion is, I think it really works because they created that kind of custom surround that just makes it look so much more high-end than just hanging that electric fireplace on the wall. What do you think, Karrie?
Absolutely. I think the scale of that, though, I might want to put something a little bit bigger on there.
Yeah. I know what you're saying, and also personally, I'm a symmetry person, so it bugs me that we don't.
Yeah, and that there's not a built-in matching on the other side.
Yeah, exactly. Dave, what do you think?
You know what? To me, that's a perfect situation for TV above the fireplace. And you want to consider the size of the room as well. It appears that the couch and the foreground were far enough away that you can get away with that. You don't feel like you're kind of front row of the movie theater. Yeah.
Okay. And then Jackie, I'll include you in this next photo. So that was Jackie's love of electric. Here we have a gas fireplace, like a really good one that actually looks pretty real when it comes to mimicking a wood burning. I know, Karrie, you and I both like the symmetry of those built-ins. But here's the TV up above. So Jackie, our lover of reading, what do you think about this?
I'm not loving it. It just does not, it doesn't suit the rest. You've got this sort of traditional rustic fireplace and these beautiful, also traditional looking built-ins, and then you've got this TV. It's just
this big screen flat.
It's just out of whack.
Yeah.
Just out of whack.
Yeah, especially if you replace that with some sporting event. It's just like, ooh, what's happening here?
Yeah.
Karrie, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. If the sporting event is on, suddenly your beautiful rustic fireplace has just gone into the background.
Okay,
I don't agree.
I'm not putting Dave on the spot and throwing him under the bus when it comes to sporting events on a large TV, ruining the vibe of a room. Okay, guys, thank you so much for sharing your opinions. We always value them. And I hope you've learned something today. Maybe you feel inspired to get out those mason jars and put together a fabulous floral arrangement, some nice throw cushions as well on the couch. Or maybe it's going to your local home store and bringing in that organic feel. And maybe it's, tackling a home improvement project and this time not going over budget because you know the questions to ask. Until next week, don't forget to visit our Facebook page, The Nest with Kasie Savage. Share your pics, share your tips, and we will see you again next time on The Nest.